In life, we have moments of time to help someone. It's amazing to me how many people don't figure out how to problem solve with other people's help is not true. What is true is that when a person asks for specific help on something really simple as a 30-cent oriented document printing card, it's amazing how a person in a different community who doesn't understand poverty, who doesn't understand homelessness, will simply say no. It's sort of crazy that people will continue to violate other people's rights and not help on something so modest and small. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone. The greatest gift and kindness you can make to someone is to simply say, "It looks like you're in a bit of a struggle based on what I'm observing. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But if I'm not wrong and there's something that I could do with my resources to help you, I'd really like to know what that is. If it's a matter of needing a meal, I'm happy to purchase it for you. If you're needing to go shopping for some canned goods, let's go do that. We can walk over together to the shop nearby. Or let me help you to produce some new clothing so that you can make a good first impression at that next job interview." That's how simple it is, but in truth, if one person feels that those sort of last minute things, the latter part of things that are more expensive, is too difficult, then all they have to do is walk into one of their fellowship halls and literally say, "I'm making an announcement. I'm trying to help a homeless person to get back on their feet. If anyone would like to contribute a small portion towards the project or the goal we're trying to accomplish, I would really appreciate it." All the money and proceeds will go directly to that homeless person on a gift card at a place that the homeless person chooses they'd like to purchase what it is that they need for their life and their plans and their goals. When other people think they have the right to lord over other people, like deciding what a person's going to eat, they might say, "Let me get you something to eat." And you're thinking in your mind, "Wow, great, I might get a burger, I might get some shrooms or something," and they bring you back something that's not that at all. You're sort of left like, "Well, that was a blessing, I definitely need to eat it, but it might not be right for my body." It's a lot easier to say, "Where's that you like to eat? Let me go and buy a gift card for you there, and I'll just put enough money on it so that you can at least get one meal. It's not my job to sponsor you for life. It's not my job to help you forever, but I'd like to help you today. So let me do that for you, please." When a person is given the choice of where they might like to eat or where they might like to shop, it's a better deal for them. It allows them to go places they're accustomed to going, speak with people they're accustomed to seeing, and literally purchase what they need for their life today. It's very rare for a person of Vice to want to go and buy other parts of Vice is not true, but if there's a gift card to a restaurant, establishment, a gas station, or something like that, it's a little bit harder for them to procure things of Vice. It's also easier for them to provide themselves some nourishment in true food if you encourage them strongly to utilize the card only for emergency or to utilize the card when they don't have enough cash to produce a meal. It's not really an emergency card, but it does allow them the freedom to say, "At the very least, I have this emergency card I can utilize for my life sometime." In moments of time, it's amazing to me that there are restaurants that will literally throw food away at the end of the night, as opposed to allowing a homeless person to walk in and say, "I haven't had a meal for today. Would you mind feeding me with something that you have stockpile of, that I know you'll throw away at the end of the night?" See, this is how a homeless person could eat, but oftentimes they are dumpster diving in places which really isn't sanitized or healthy for them. It also doesn't produce good smells on their clothes because of that experience, and frankly, it's sort of a demoralization of a human soul. In life, we have the ability to say, "You know what, I'm going to give up my 1 cup of Starbucks coffee that cost me $7 to give a $7 gift card to Starbucks for someone to eat something." You also have to look at the products that are served at that place. How much do they literally cost? Most of the places that I'd like to go are usually going to be somewhere between $15 and $20 to eat and include a tip. The reality is that people do need to have a little cash to provide a tip is sort of true. But many times people will only give a few dollars, which doesn't provide enough for a substantial meal. What is always amazing to me is the people who are the least of these, who are openly willing to provide something as modest as $1 or as inexpensive as $3 to a totally homeless person, when really they needed that money in their pocket themselves. You see, it's only those who are close to the line that get this. The people of affluence could buy 10 gift cards and it would never harm them in their million years. And yet we have famous people who are spending millions of dollars to get publicity shots, to be more online, to produce audio files because maybe they don't want to do their acting gig anymore, or maybe they want more steady work, or maybe they're looking for more residual income. It's really hard to say. But the truth is that every single day there are men, women, and children who go hungry in our land. It is not the nation's job to provide for the other children of the rest of the world. That is their president's job. That is their office's job. That is their administration's job. In America, we have a lot of people living here illegally because they came, they stayed, and they took advantage of the fact that the federal government wasn't paying attention to them at all. There are men and women who do that, but the problem is they have to lie, steal, and cheat their entire life in order to stay here and remain here. At the same time, if they tell an American about their situation, it makes that American somewhat obligated to be either a liar with them, not disclosing private information, or a supporter of them, which they don't really like either. In life, we have moments of time to decide, what am I going to do in this moment of time? Last evening, I was seated quietly after talking to a lovely girl who came over to talk to me and share information about her religious practices, and all of a sudden, a couple of black women literally drove up on the curb and almost hit me with their vehicle in a way of vehicle manslaughter. I, of course, was not really prepared for that because there was a tile iron that would allow that car to have stopped. But it didn't stop the car. The car drove straight over it. The girl on the passenger side was throwing her door open, totally drunk off her rocker, and trying to get out of the car, demanding that she get her car back from the other girl who was obviously also inebriated because she did not control the vehicle and she drove onto the curb. Or they were literally part of the hate crime that is trying to kill my life. You see, I've already had a stroke on the left side of my body because people thought they'd monkey with my health care. And in mental health, they decided they'd give me something that probably caused that to begin. You see, in life, only a person who knows their entire life's medical history has the right to decide what they will and won't put in their body with the help of a physician they choose. But when other people, monsters of the land, Nazis who decide what they're going to do to you, think they have rights to do things, it really monkeys with the body. But you know what the saddest part is? They don't care. They literally don't care that they've monkeyed with my health. They don't care that they've caused me a stroke, that I've lost capabilities in a hand, and they don't care that it's causing me now heart problems. Because in their way, they create a death. They create a death of a soul, they create a death of a life. But here's the thing, if the situation was reversed, if the situation was totally reversed and someone went in and told a lie and did all these things to them, how would they feel? You see, the rights in the land only work when other people recognize that their right to life is no different to anyone else's right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of love and happiness in our land. At this moment in time, I'd like to close the AudioCast program to say, look, if you're monkeying someone else's legal name, if you're monkeying around in their property, if you're stealing things, if you're invisibly trying to do stuff that's illicit and immoral, the God in heaven knows who you are and will come for you. The angels of the Lord know what is right in this world and what is not. And while you may be getting away with it short term, you will never get away with it long term. The Lord will hold you accountable for your lies about your right to lord over someone else's life, body, or anything else. We have politicians that are trying to take away women's rights, which is not correct. We have men who rape women, which is also not correct. But the problem is that those situations don't only occur to women, they also occur to men, but no one listens, no one hears them, and no one pays any attention to a person experiencing hate crime. They just don't believe it. In life, we have moments of time to make a difference for someone, and if you're not making that difference, if you're not meeting a person halfway, if you're not showing up somewhat announced, somewhat unannounced on God's countenance, you might just be losing out on the life you long for in the future. That the person you're supposed to be with is not the one you're with, and openly that may be true too. You may end up discovering that that individual is a part of the lying group that have destroyed a life, and then how are you going to feel about them? You won't feel the same. I guarantee you won't feel the same when you hear what a man has done to an individual. Without their consent, without their knowledge, because he violates the law, and openly that's what our talk is about today. That there's liabilities to the Lord, but there's also liabilities to the law, and only a few people running for president seem to pay attention to the fact that these people who have come in, these infidels that have crossed the border, have come here illegally. We have a law in this land that says you are not allowed to do that. You can come lawfully as a student, you can come lawfully on other type of work visas that are special for particular arts, etc., but you cannot just walk across the border and claim American status. It is a tragedy what is happening to these children of those people, but what should have happened immediately was they should have been all put on a bus and delivered back to their home country. They don't need to stay in our detention camps to be put in a position of political prowess in that they are getting all this play for their illegal behavior. They need to be put on a bus, which we have plenty of, and driven back into their home country and let go. Then they have their children's lives to protect, they have their own rights to look forward to, and they don't have to burden us with their illegal behavior. This is also a audio recording for other people to listen to. If you like what I have to say, reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you don't like what I have to say, well, you might just be learning something, or you might just be growing in some way that the Lord wants. I hope that you're having a blessed day, and I look forward to your feedback.